Today's video was sponsored by EcoFlow. Alright friends, welcome back to the channel. Right now we're in the garage and I'm charging up my new EcoFlow Delta 2 power station. This is the main power station right here. And right here beside of it is an extra battery for it. I'm not sure if this will come through in the camera or not. We're 77% on the charging station. And over here on the extra battery, we're at 65%, just about fully charged on both of them. We're about 30 minutes away from having a full charge on both those units. So while we're waiting on that, let's get something else done. I need to mow the yard, and hopefully it doesn't rain on us. Guys, it's been about probably 45 minutes, I guess. The main unit is at 100%, the extra battery at 99. Let's go put them to use. Alright guys, what we're looking at here today is the EcoFlow Delta 2. This is not the original Delta that we tested out last month on this channel. This is actually the newer one, the Delta 2. And I really like the Delta, but this Delta 2 has a lot more features, and I'll share them with you guys. Alright, just so we know what we're looking at here, on the left we have the Delta 2, right here is the extra battery, and on the far right is the Delta that we tested out about a month ago. And the biggest difference so far for me between these two is the weight. I have owned a lot of these power units over the past few years, and this Delta 2, friends, is the lightest one I've ever picked up. And based on the size of it and the ratings, the weight of it is really nice. It really doesn't weigh you down. It's easy to transport, and you don't have to worry about throwing your back out when you pick it up. Over here we have the original Delta. This was my favorite one until the Delta 2 arrived. And I still like this one. I'm going to use it in the shop still, but it's quite a bit heavier than the Delta 2. Right here in the middle, we have the extra battery that will hook up to either unit. And guys, it's even lighter than the Delta 2. Really nice right there. And let me show you something else I really like about this extra battery. So if you want to use this extra battery, you have to have a cord to hook up to either unit. And where's the cord at? It's stored inside this little compartment. Friends, stuff like this is really nice in my opinion because they're thinking outside the box, because organization and ease of use comes into play with these things. And when you have a nice storage compartment to keep up with your cords, that's nice to have right there. So that's a really good feature about this battery. So just like the other EcoFlow units, this one has a screen on the front that shows how much power is going in, how much power is going out, how much time you have left on your battery charge, and the percentage as well. Here on the front below the screen you have 4 USB inputs. 2 of them are fast charging. And friends, I use these EcoFlows to charge up my batteries on my cameras when I'm videoing, and I used the Delta today and it charged those batteries faster than I've ever charged them before. And down here below it you have 2 USB-C 100 watts on the left and the right. Turn it on its side right here and you can see there's another port, and this goes to your extra battery that we just got through looking at, and that does take a special cord to hook up to your battery. Okay, we're now looking at the back of the unit. We have 6 wall sockets right here for 110 power, and right above those you have ports to charge the unit. You also have a breaker right here on the top. But right here is a connector for solar, and I've used solar before. It charges really fast. Then right there in the middle is a regular wall outlet to charge this thing by plugging it into a 110 outlet. Delta 2 has 1 kilowatt hour capacity. When you hook up the extra battery, it gives you 2 kilowatt hour capacity. Now I've been using these EcoFlows since about January of this year in sponsored and non-sponsored content here on YouTube because guys, I love them. I use them all the time here in the shop and out in the field if I'm doing repairs or I need to run power tools. These things are a lot handier than a gas generator. You don't have to worry about starting it or hauling, gasoline around or nothing like that. It's really convenient to have these on hand. And the biggest question I get is how many times can you recycle the battery or recharge these things before they run out? Well, the Delta 2 has a really good battery on it, and EcoFlow says it will recharge to full capacity from being completely dead 3,000 times. So that gives you about 10 years of use if you use it every day like that. That's a whole lot better than your cell phone gets. This iPhone right here may last a year if I'm lucky before the battery starts going down to about 50% capacity. So if I can get 10 years of use out of these EcoFlows, if I use them every day, which I don't use them to a full charge every day, that's pretty good. So I got a pretty good test in mind today for the Delta 2. I'm going to see if it will run the DeWalt miter saw. I have the biggest miter saw DeWalt makes, and the Delta 1 handled it just fine. I think we'll have no trouble with the Delta 2 when I run it. But after we do that, I'm going to add something to it to increase the load. I think we're going to be okay, but guys, you never know. I'm going to keep it honest today. If it does trip the breaker, you guys will know it. If you're just getting into these power units, one thing I suggest is a nice cart to put them on. Most people keep these in their workshop or their garage, and they bring them in the house when there's an emergency because you can run appliances off these EcoFlows with no problem. But get yourself a nice little cart. I got this at Harbor Freight, I think. And it makes it real nice to transport your power units around whatever building they're in. So if this was in my garage, it'd be really nice just to push it around to my areas that I need it. And this right here, friends, is the way to go. That way you don't have to carry it around everywhere. Make it easier on yourself. All right, just to make it run a little bit harder, we'll cut a little piece of hickory. All right, guys, move my cord back around. So when I run my miter saw, it's actually hooked up to a dust collector. And on that first cut, I did have it hooked directly to the EcoFlow, but now it's hooked up to the Festool dust collector there on the floor. So this time when we turn on the miter saw, we have to supply power to the dust collector in addition to the saw. I would guess we're probably going to be pulling about 25 amps from both machines. It worked. Kind of surprised me. I thought the breaker may trip, but we're in good shape. The most common place I use my power units are down here in my workshop, and let me give you some examples of how I use these things every day. One of my most common use for these units are keeping battery powered tools charged up. This really takes away the need for having so many outlets in the shop, which does save money on running wire, because most of those little power stations you see that people have are usually a mess and cords are running everywhere. With this unit, you can just put your power stations on top of it or lay it beside it on this cart and keep all your batteries charged. Another daily use is charging your cell phone. Hopefully one day they'll start using these EcoFlow batteries in phones. And it's kind of ironic, most of the people that I talk to who do buy these units, they go into it thinking it's for emergency use only, and they find themselves using them on a daily basis like I do. They're really handy to have around, guys. I'd like to thank EcoFlow again for sponsoring today's video. And friends, if you're not familiar with these power units, I would give them a good look. I would do some research and check out all the different models EcoFlow has to offer and find one that fits your needs. I really like this Delta 2. I think if I didn't have one, I would probably shoot for the Delta 2 and the extra battery based on the stuff we discussed today. EcoFlow does pay me to advertise their products on my channel, but to be honest with you, I'll be showing them regardless. If you go back on my videos throughout this year, I've showed these EcoFlow units probably weekly sometimes on my videos. So they're not paying me to do that. I believe in these products, friends. They do a really good job here at my shop. It helped keeping all my equipment running. And I think if you tried one of them out, you'd find you have a lot of uses for them. The EcoFlow Delta 2 is not just a battery, but our essential home appliance. Whether for daily home usage, outdoor, or travel use, a handy and eco-friendly power solution for your family anytime, anywhere. Head to my link in the description to visit EcoFlow's green energy solutions.